Hello to all my friends and family, and welcome to Jim's 5am Club. I'm just sitting in the car out here in the front of my driveway, chilling out, and thought I'd take you through and take you on a journey of discovery. I've got another beautiful book summary to talk about today, a book summary entitled The Speed of Trust. And it's a book written by Stephen Covey, but it's not the Stephen Covey that you think, it's actually his son. So I had the great fortune of going and seeing Steve Covey talk in a seminar many years ago, and his voice, his style, his presence were just magical. And the messages that I got from those seminars and the books that I've read that he'd written will stay with me forever and have been a major part of my growth and development. So it's all interesting here to read a book summary from the legend himself, his son, Stephen Covey. So he makes an interesting point to kick off his book, and the point that he makes is that we judge others. Let me say it again. We judge ourselves by our intentions, and yet we judge others by their behavior. How interesting is that? We judge ourselves by what we intend to do, not what we do, but what we intend to do, and we judge others by what they actually do. And hence why it's easy to be judgmental. It's easy to judge others because you're judging them based on what they've done, and yet you're judging yourself on what you think that you'd like to have done. Now that's interesting, I like that. So this book is all about trust, and the author tries to enlighten us on the importance of having trust, because trust is a key component for all of our interactions in our life. Because if you're not a trusting person, then you're going to struggle in life. You're going to struggle because you're not going to want to do anything, and if you do anything, you're going to be overthinking things, you're going to be overcautious, you're going to be trying to second guess everything and look at every single potential consequence. And to be brutally honest, you're not going to take any action because you're not going to have the balls to make a decision in the first place and take action. So the author here talks to us about how trust impacts an organisation. So let's talk at the larger scale first, and then we'll narrow it down to ourselves. But I've worked in many large organisations that walk and talk empowerment, where they tell people and they explain to people, this is your job, these are the outcomes that I want from you in this job, and how you do it is up to you, as long as what you do is legal and sustainable. But I've also worked with other organisations where every decision was centralised, and everything had to go through layers on the way up and layers on the way down, and it would take forever to get anybody to make a decision about anything, because the organisations were extremely political and ineffective and inefficient as well. So the author says here that trust increases speed and thus lowers costs in business. So it's important to hire people, it's important to train people, it's important to engage with people and to build as much trust as possible, because by building trust, You're giving people the autonomy to be able to do their job. And once you give people clear guidance in terms of what needs to be achieved, you give them the tools in order to do what they need to do, and then you let them go and do it. And in most times, and more often than not, once you create an environment of growth and development and cooperation and an environment of trust, then you will get significant and outstanding results. Because more trust leads to faster results, and consequently, less trust leads to slower progress. And in today's world, where we have rapidly moving markets, rapidly moving product innovation and development, rapidly moving consumer sentiment or changing consumer sentiment, if you're not nimble, you're going to die a dinosaur's death. So let's narrow it down now and start talking about us at the individual level. Because the author Stephen Covey, says that you first need to trust yourself. Because trust is similar to confidence. If you don't have trust in yourself, how can you have trust in other people? And I have a lot of people that I know who are very suspicious. They're conspiracy theorists. They don't trust governments. They don't trust the system. They don't trust their partners. They don't trust their children. They don't trust their priest. They don't trust the Prime Minister. They don't trust the teachers. They don't trust anybody. And the reason for all of that mistrust is that they have a basic problem. And that problem is that they don't trust themselves, and they haven't learned how to build trust in themselves. Because once you trust yourself and you know how powerful it is and how liberating it is, then it's easy to extend that trust to people around you. But I'm not talking about having blind trust. Have an eye open to make sure that everybody's on track and everybody's doing the right thing. Because you have your goals, you have your value set, and you align your goals, your outputs, your work ethic with your value set, and you know what you need to do and what others need to do as well. So trust is like confidence, as the author says, and it's created where competence and character come together. The two C's, competence and character, coming together to give you confidence, which leads to trust. And the end of the day is, now, how much do you believe in a person to follow through on their intentions? Now, when I ask people to do something, I ask them to do something. I don't ask people to do something and for them to think about doing it some other day or maybe never. So the biggest lesson that I've learned, and I'm still learning, is that when somebody asks you to do something, just bloody do it. Because for them to ask you to do something, for them to ask you to help them, it's something that they need right there and then. And usually it means dropping everything and making it a priority if you can. But if you can't, you need to be clear. You need to tell somebody that I hear you, I understand what you need, but I can't do it now, and give a reason, as opposed to saying, yeah, okay, I'll do it, and never follow through. Because by doing that, you lose respect, and you lose not only respect in the eyes of somebody else, but you lose respect in your own eyes. When you look at yourself in the mirror and look at that person and say, wow, You say you're going to do all these things, but you never follow through. So the most important person to trust is yourself. You need to build that skill. And that skill starts from very, very young. But also, it's like a muscle. Trust is like a muscle. You need to build it. You need to build it. And the way you build it is by using it day in, day out, saying that you're going to do things, making promises to yourself, and keeping those promises without faltering. And once you can keep promises to yourself, then you're in a position to start keeping promises to your partner, to your parents, to your work peers, to your children, and to others around you. But many people haven't had the drilling to build confidence in being able to trust themselves. So how can you trust others when you can't trust yourself to do what you say you will? It's very, very simple. If you can't trust yourself to do what you said you're going to do, how the F can you trust anybody else? It makes sense that you're not going to trust the COVID-19 vaccine. You're not going to trust Pfizer, Moderna, AstraZeneca, Johnson & Johnson, because you think that they are like you. But a lot of these organisations have had billions of dollars invested in them. They've got the biggest and best brains in the world, working with the latest and greatest technologies. And they're goal-oriented, and they're organisations that have learnt how to trust themselves, to say that they're going to do something and to follow through. Not everybody, not every organisation, not every Prime Minister, not everybody else that you know is like you if you're not trusting. There are people out there who deliver on their promises day in, day out. So something to think about when you start having all of these conspiracy theories and start projecting your inadequacies, your fears, and your problems onto other people and to governments and to organisations and big pharma this and big pharma that. So think very, very clearly that if you don't trust other people, the problem is you. So you need to work on you before you can start pointing the finger at everybody else, is the bottom line from this wonderful book. So the 4 things that people need to work on in order to build trust is integrity, which is honesty, make small commitments and keep them, as we said before. Intent, question your motives and develop admirable ones. Don't be negative, don't be cynical. Work to something which is going to create good to yourself and to the people around you. Work on your capabilities. Develop the skills through deliberate practice. Set yourself some goals to improve the things that you're able to do and things that you can get better at. And the last one is focus on the results. You need to build a track record. You need to build a track record of trust to yourself and also to your friends. If you say you're going to turn up at 7 o'clock to pick somebody up, or you've got a dinner date at 7:30 or 8 o'clock, make sure you're there earlier. Make sure you try and get there 15 minutes before the time you promise you're going to get there, as opposed to getting there at 1 minute past 7 and having them there waiting, wondering where you are and stressing out. I know they're big words, and I don't do it all the time, so don't think that I'm talking arrogantly and saying that I'm the fountain of knowledge and I'm a fountain of all of these things that I'm talking about. I'm just talking about what the author is telling us through scientific studies, through observation, through OPE, other people's experience. And at the end of the day, we just need to build trust in ourselves, trust in our businesses, and then to generate that trust amongst each other in an engagement, in a flow of trust. I trust you, you trust me, I respect you, you respect me, I love you, you love me, and it just goes on. So we have an embrace, a never-ending, perpetual embrace of trust, where we're all working to the common good without worrying all the time about what may go wrong, because we all have good intentions. It's just the expression of those intentions which let us down. But if you've got people who don't trust you, who talk down to you, who don't have high expectations of you, or if you don't have high expectations of yourself and you talk down to yourself and you don't give yourself a break and let yourself achieve, then you're going to cause problems because of your mindset. So we need to give each other the respect and the admiration, so that from a societal perspective, we can all lead by example, I guess, is the bottom line and the ending point in this wonderful book. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me on this late afternoon. It's getting dark. I can hardly see myself. Let me put the light on, have a bit of light. And let's finish off with the positive affirmation. I'm alive, I am well, and I feel absolutely great. To my friends and family, stay connected, stay relevant, stay reasonable, and most importantly, let's learn to trust. Let's learn to trust ourselves and to build confidence in ourselves and capabilities in ourselves, and to make promises to ourselves that we're able to follow through with and deliver on, and also to trust others whilst keeping our eye on them, by all means, making sure that we've got our values aligned, our goals aligned, and we're communicating clearly and unambiguously, and work together. Because through trust, as we said, things speed up. Through trust, we get things done through muscle memory. We don't have to sit and talk about everything, because I know you're going to follow through and get your part of the deal done, and you know that I'm going to do my end of the deal, and we just both meet in the middle with an outcome, be it an experience, be it a product, be it a business, be it a friendship, be it who knows what it is. But we need to operate with the mindset of trust, and not to be influenced, not to be distracted by all the people out there who just sow multiple seeds of fear, uncertainty and doubt, and just cause people to be distrusting and not to trust anyone or anything, and to blame the system, blame Big Pharma, blame the Prime Minister, blame the boss, blame their spouse, blame their children, blame their parents, their grandparents, their uncles, their aunts, their teachers. You know where I'm coming from. Blame the church, blame the priest. So let's start with trusting ourselves. And it starts from now. I trust you, you trust me. As long as we're communicating, then we're in a position to start building that pathway to a more trusting relationship and an enhanced world. Thank you. Take care, and we'll chat again. So thank you very much for joining me, and I'll come back later on maybe, or tomorrow, with another episode of Jim's 5am Club. I'm rapidly climbing to the 700th episode in both Greek and English. and my goal is to crack 1,000 in English by my birthday, which hopefully will be celebrated on the 27th of May. I missed out last year because of COVID. And once again, we'll finish off with a positive affirmation. I'm alive, I'm well, and I feel great. And let's live as trusting as we can and learn something from this book, The Spirit of Trust, by Steve Covey, the son of the mighty Stephen Covey. So we'll chat again. If you like ya, from Jim's 5am Club, and we'll talk again. Bye for now. Cheers.